Well, good evening. We are back to the study of the Spirit's book. We are on chapter 10 of book 2, Spirit's Missions and Occupations. We stopped last week on question 566, so we are going to start on question 567. Philip, with you.
567. Do spirits ever participate in our occupations and pleasures? Ordinary spirits, as you call them, do. They are always around you and have a role in everything that you do, which may be more or less active. They do this to motivate men and women in the different walks of life and to arouse or curb their passions. Spirits are interested in this world in proportion to their elevation or inferiority. Higher spirits have the power of looking into the smallest details of things, but only do so when they think it is useful to progress. Lower ranking spirits attribute a degree of importance to such things in proportion to what is left of their memory of this world and material notions.
So we are surrounded by spirits. We know that, right? And we have both protecting spirits, and we have the spirits that want to cause us harm or to cause us to face difficulties according to their personal interest in our lives or in the actions we are taking. So these are the ordinary spirits that participate in our day-to-day life as much as they can if we allow them. Again, we connect to the spirits with our vibrational level. As we lower our vibration, we connect to less evolved spirits. If we increase our vibrations, we connect to high order spirits. High order spirits are guardian angels, our familiar spirits, our protecting spirits that we studied last chapter. They are only interested in helping us progress. So they will be active in our lives when we are doing useful things for our own progress. But they will always be available to us if we need them. Less evolved spirits that are still miss their physical existence, the incarnation, and they still have interest in things of our daily lives, they can be connected to us either to share with us our inferior interests here on earth, or to try to influence us on the wrong path if it's the cause that they want to cause us harm, or they want to disturb us. The more evolved spirits, they have a broader view of our lives, so they are not interested in the small details of our daily lives, because they are all temporary. They have little or no significance on our evolvement as eternal spirits, on our journey of evolvement as eternal spirits. So they will try to influence and to be involved when things that can help us progress. Now, the spirits that are similar to us share our interests and share our inferior tendencies that will be around us if we give way to our inferior tendencies. Okay? Questions, comments here?
$568.
Yeah.
When spirits receive a mission, do they accomplish it when errant or when incarnated? They may be assigned a mission in either state. For some errant spirits, this mission is a very important occupation.
Okay, so a mission, first, a mission is something that a spirit will do for the benefit of others. It's never, mission is never a negative task. So we won't call mission spirits that are trying to cause harm to others, individually or collectively. This is not a mission. This is a choice of the spirit. A mission is something that you receive in order to benefit others. If you are doing something for yourself, for your own progress, which is important, and we have to work on our own progress, but it's not a mission because we are working on our own improvement. If we are working for our improvement with the objective of being able to help others to fulfill a mission, then yes, it's a mission. Now, a very important characteristic of a missionary is a true missionary never recognizes that they are on a mission because they are humble. If someone tells you that they are here on a mission, it's a red flag. They are not, because they don't have the humility to be a true missionary. If you ask Mother Teresa, when she was doing her work, if she was a missionary, she would say, no, I'm just doing the work I'm supposed to do. I'm just following God's will, trying to do the work of God. Now, here, when they talk about errant, meaning in the spiritual world or when incarnated, of course, spirits can do missions both when they are discarnated or when they're incarnated. We're more used to listen to incarnated spirits on a mission, like a Mother Teresa, again, a Gandhi, of a Martin Luther King, than we are of spirits in the spiritual world. But if we think of a spirit that is responsible for a group, for a city, for a state, for a country, these are spirits on a mission, right? When we talk about the St. Louis, who is the responsible for France, it is a mission. Taking care of a country is a mission, right? When we talk about Ismael, who is the guardian angel of Brazil, it's a mission again. So spirits can have a mission in the spirit world. But again, the very characteristic of a missionary is never recognizing that they are on a mission. They say, I don't deserve to be on a mission. I'm just trying to help those when I can. And so that's how you differentiate someone who's truly a missionary or someone that is pretending to be a missionary. Okay.
$569. What missions may be assigned to errant spirits? It would be impossible to list them all because they are so diverse, and there are even some that you could not possibly understand. Spirits carry out God's will, and you are not able to gain access to all of God's designs. The purpose of a mission is always good. Whether as spirits or incarnate beings, they are expected to help advance the progress of humanity, nations, and individuals alike, within a more or less extensive range of ideas. They pave the way for specific events and oversee the success of specific things. Some spirits may have a mission that is narrower in scope and are considered personal or even localized. They help the sick, the dying, or the suffering, serving as a guide and protector and helping them find their way by their guidance or the honest thoughts they suggest. There are as many spirit missions as there are interests, whether in the physical world or in the spirit world. Each spirit advances according to how it accomplishes the task with which it has been entrusted.
Thanks. So here the spirits say that it's impossible to list them all because there are many missions that can be assigned to errant spirits, more than we could even understand, right? Spirits carry out God's will, and that's very important, right? The perfected spirits that connect directly with God and carry out God's will. Of course, they will distribute their work to less evolved spirits. So we know, for instance, that there are spirits in charge of nature, right? Of everything that happens in nature. Now, are all the spirits that are doing this work aware of what they're doing? And they're going to discuss this later. No, they're not. The spirits that are in command, they know what their role are. But sometimes the less evolved spirits that also fulfill the task of carrying out the orders of more evolved spirits are not really aware of what they're doing. When you ask, that famous phrase that someone arrives at a cathedral being built and asks two of the very low workers that were putting bricks, and one of them said, I'm building a wall, and the other said, I'm building a cathedral. You see the understanding and the different vision of how they see their work, right? I was thinking when Philip was reading, right? You go to a hospital and you have two doctors working there. You are going to say that it's a mission for them to take care of the sick? Not necessarily, right? Some of them, you see the ones that really care for the sick, that do their work out of their heart, independent of the payment, or go beyond their responsibilities. These may be the missionaries that really the real missionary doctors. But the ones that are they're just doing their work, taking care of patients, being paid of it, and that's it. You cannot say that they're missionaries. It's a good work, they're helping, but a true missionary is someone that goes beyond oneself to help others, right? To assist others. Every work that we do here can be seen as a task or a mission, depending on how the person that is doing the work is executing the work and how they are viewing it, right? Someone that opens a hospice, right, to take care of old people. They may be looking at how much they are going to make, because they think it's a profitable business. They're not missionaries. Someone that truly wants to help those that are suffering, that are sick, that goes beyond their limitations of the physical world to provide help and assistance to the elderly. These are the missionaries. And there are plenty of missionaries in this world that we never heard of and we will never hear of, because they do their work in silence without calling the attention. Those that we are hearing a lot about in the world, doing a lot of work, they're not missionaries. They may even be doing a good work, right? Those that are doing charitable work. There are a lot of people that do charity because they want to be recognized. This is not a missionary. This is someone they are doing a good work. We cannot deny that they are doing a good work, but it's just the difference between being a missionary and being just someone that wants to do the work for their own benefit above all, first of all, right? Okay.
João.
Yes, Luisa.
I was thinking, just because I was reading recently the book I'm Back from brother Jacob, right? I'm lost in translation here. I think when he returns to the spiritual world, his teacher from elementary school, I think, whatever, I don't know, I don't remember which level the teacher was, that the teacher was receiving him and the spiritual. I see that as a missionary, because she was even more elevated than him when she returns to the spiritual world. Or
Yeah.
I'm missing up everything.
No, I think you're right. And again, the work of a teacher, it can be a mission, or it can be just a work like any other work, right? Depending on how the teacher face the challenges of being a teacher. But being a teacher nowadays, it's
It's more like a mission.
yeah, I would say very likely that those that working as teachers, they are missionaries, because it's so hard, right?
Yeah.
In that case, it was not his teacher. It was some lady that discarnated with him and was taken back in his spiritual world. And she was received by a group of children there in the spirit world. and Brother Jacob was kind of jealous of her because he was seeing how she was received. So she definitely was a missionary. And
Okay.
and again, a mission, as they said here, it can be something. If you come with a child that that is struggling for any reason, and you have to take care of this child through your whole life, it's a mission. Parenthood is a mission. Can be or not, depending on how you take care of your duties as a parent, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
570.
Yeah.
Do spirits always understand the plans they must carry out? No. Some are blind instruments, but others fully understand their end goal.
Yeah, again, we have the everyone, every living being participates in the progress of the world here, right? From the very first stages of the animal kingdom until the human kind, they participate. Of course, animals don't understand their role in the progress of the planet, but they participate, right? You cannot say that bees don't have a role in the in our planet. More and more, we understand the role of certain animals. Insects that are a problem for many people, they have a role here. And of course, without being aware of their responsibilities, they only carry the natural laws without understanding. So they are the blind instruments. But even human beings, right? For us that do not understand the concept of eternal spirits, of eternal life, that are living our lives and working and living an honest life, we are blind instruments of the evolvement of humankind without fully understanding. Of course, the more evolved ones have a better understanding of their role and the part they play in the progress of humanity. But again, not necessarily a mission. You can be working to help others, working to because you think is the right thing to do, but not necessarily being a missionary or being on a mission. You're just doing it for the right reasons, right? And again, we shouldn't get too lost in words, right? Because if we're trying to understand who are on a mission and who's not on a mission, we can get easily lost. If someone is doing good work and helping others, we just have to appreciate without being concerned if they are missionaries or not. Okay.
571. Do only elevated spirits receive missions? The importance of a mission is always proportionate to the capacity and elevation of the spirit. A courier who delivers a message fulfills a mission, although it is not equivalent to that of a general.
again, we have to perform according to our abilities and to our knowledge. You cannot go beyond what you know. So if you are working on your own progress and trying to on your path to help others, following the teachings of Spiritism, without charity there is no salvation. You are trying to help others according to your own limitations. You are fulfilling a mission, even if it's not the mission in the way that we are studying here and thinking of a Mother Teresa or someone that equivalent, right? But again, we have to be careful not to get lost in words. Okay.
572.
Yep.
Is a spirit's mission forced upon it or chosen by it? It asks for it and is happy to get it. Can several spirits ask for the same mission? Yes. There are often several candidates for the same mission, but they are not all chosen.
Okay, so if you think of a mission in the true sense of the word, which is to help others, it implies a voluntary work, right? So if it's a voluntary work, a spirit has to ask for it to receive the responsibility, both before incarnating or in the spiritual world. And is happy to get it if they are deserving of trying to fulfill the mission. And of course, like there are more than one, generally there is more than one candidate for a job, there are several candidates for a mission, and the spirits will choose the most likely to succeed or the one that is in most need of going through that experience, depending on the mission and then on the necessity of those asking for the opportunity. Okay.
$573. What is the mission of incarnate spirits? Educating other incarnates, helping their advancement, and improving their institutions through direct material means. Missions vary in scope and importance, and the individual who works as a farmer accomplishes a mission just as a politician or a teacher does. Everything in nature is connected, and all spirits, while purifying themselves through incarnation, contribute to the accomplishment of God's plans. Each of you has a mission because each of you can be useful in one way or another.
So here is a little bit of a generalization of the word mission, right? Meaning that each one of us can have a mission depending on how we are useful to others, right? Every time we are contributing to the evolvement of humankind, we can say that we are fulfilling a mission. It may not be a mission that we have been specifically assigned to do, but one of he gives the example of a farmer that is producing food that is going to provide resources for a lot of people, right? You can call it a mission. He's helping others, but is he doing for the sake of helping others, or he's looking just to accumulate wealth? And again, that's the difference of doing it as a mission or doing it for personal gains, right? But again, we have to be careful not to get lost in the definition of the word and not to worry too much if someone or ourselves are on a mission or not.
Let me say this. A mission is any behavior that is defined either towards self or towards others. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. So that's it. So everyone, each one of us, is in a mission or does carry a mission.
You can say that. That's
Yes.
what.
And whether the other one is far more elevated or not than mine, well, that's a mission that that person or that soul, given his elevation, is entitled to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we're depending on your degree of elevation, but that's how your mission is accomplished. But in reality, every one of us is in a mission because every one of us is in the pursuit of edifying ourselves and become more and more, towards perfection.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
and yeah, and again, we shouldn't worry too much. My only concern with the word mission here is that some people use it for negative things, right? So
Oh.
someone is on a mission to a country is on a mission to destroy another country. That's not a mission.
No. But
Mission
you
is
said
always
it.
positive.
You said it before. It's basically edifying, so it's obvious. If it's
Yeah.
not the way I'm looking at it, the way I understood you, is that if it's not edifying, it's not emission.
Yes.
Am I making sense? Did
Yes.
I?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Luisa.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, João. We always talk about Mother Teresa, and of course, without any question, she was really a missionary. She did an amazing job, and all the. But I was also thinking on the previous question, when a spirit asks for a mission. So Allan Kardec, did he asked for the mission to the codification? And because we used to say that if he failed his mission, probably Leon Denis would do it. But so I would say there were two qualified candidates for that, but for some reason Allan Kardec was the chosen one.
Yeah, I don't think by some communications of Brother X Humberto de Campos that he received on the meeting in the spiritual world. Kardec was assigned to the mission because he was capable of doing it, but I never heard of him asking for the mission. I don't,
Okay.
but I won't say that he didn't because I don't really have the information. But he was assigned the mission. Yes. Did he ask for a mission? I don't know.
Okay.
And if you go to his previous incarnation as Jan Hus, right, um, the Czech scholar that
Yeah.
tried to translate the Bible and was persecuted and was condemned and killed. He was
Yeah.
already on the process of building something, right? And
Makes sense.
and he said that his physical body was going to die and he was going to come back as a dove, right? The ugly duck was going to die and the dove was going to be born or something like that. I don't remember exactly what he said, right? And you can say that when he came back as Kardec, he came back as the dove that brought the teachings of Spiritism.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
Okay.
574.
Oh, whoops, sorry. John,
Go ahead.
may I ask a quick question? This is Carol. Hello. Yeah, what about what I might consider gray area would be the common terminology these days or contemporary terminology of the word influencers, commonly noted on the internet. Would you say it would be kind of mixed review there, perhaps?
Yeah, I think the evaluation is always the result of the work, right? Is what they are doing benefiting society, helping society cure its ills, or benefiting society in terms of progress, in terms of charity? If they are doing that, you can call them missionaries. If they are just, which I believe the majority of them, they are doing it for personal reasons because they want to become famous, they want to achieve success, money, and everything, then I don't think we call missionaries, right? But we are going to see here later in other questions, some questionable actions that can be called, that serve a purpose, right? We cannot call them missionaries, but the result of the work of what they do can be called the result of a mission, right? We're talking about leaders, politicians, and this sort of individuals. Okay.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thanks so much, John.
574. What is the mission of those who are deliberately idle on earth? There are human beings who live only for themselves and do not make themselves useful in any manner whatsoever. They should be pitied because they will have to make amends for their voluntary uselessness through severe suffering. Their atonement often begins even in their present life, through their weariness and disgust of life. Why did they choose a life that could not be of any use to them, since they had the freedom of choice? Just like human beings, some spirits are lazy and avoid a life of labor. God leaves them to their devices because they eventually learn the consequences of their uselessness and then eagerly ask to be allowed to make up for lost time. They may even have chosen a more useful life, but abandoned the trial and allowed themselves to be misled by spirits who encourage them to remain inactive.
Okay, so first thing, you see that the question by Kardec is, what is the mission of those who are deliberately idle on earth? The Spirit's answer not mentioning the word mission in any part, because you are not doing anything, you're not doing any mission, right? Even if you think of small missions, personal missions that is just to help one other human being, if you are not doing anything, you are idle, you're not doing any mission. But as we discussed last week and we discussed in the past, even when you are not doing anything, when you are making no progress, apparently, you are making a progress because you are learning. Eventually, you are learning that being idle doesn't help you in any way or form. So eventually, where you are going to look back and you are going to see that the time you lost being idle was of no use to you. So you learned something. And again, the law is of progress. So you are always progressing. Even when it looks that you are not progressing at all, you are learning something that will be useful in your future when you look back. But it's difficult, right? We look around us and we see so many people doing horrible things, and we ask ourselves, how are they progressing? Well, likely or for certain, they were worse before, right? And again, sometimes it's a matter of opportunity to act on our inferior instincts. Sometimes we don't have the opportunity, and we look that we are doing okay because we didn't have the opportunity. When we face the opportunity, we allow our inferior instincts to take over, and we can cause harm, and we can do bad things to others. So we have to analyze the actions from a bird's eye view, right? In terms of a long-term view of the actions. Sometimes we are going to enter into moral laws very soon. The law of destruction is one of the moral laws. Sometimes destruction is needed for rebuild, for renewal, right? I always mention the Black Plague that destroyed half to two-thirds of the population of Europe, right? Of course, you go there and you only see destruction. But what came out of the Black Plague was humanity was stuck for 1,000 years without making much progress. And after the Black Plague came the Renaissance and all the evolution that allowed humankind to evolve. Of course, you cannot be in the middle of the Black Plague and say, oh, this is the law of destruction in action. No, you are trying to survive or trying to defend yourselves. But it's just for us to understand that sometimes destruction is necessary when we are making it hard for ourselves, for our planet to evolve. So sometimes, sometimes you have these catastrophes that you don't understand the reason for them, earthquakes, the tsunamis and things, and sometimes they are the instrument of renewal of the planet. We are eternal spirits, so we are never going to die. Our physical body dies. You can die in one disaster like that, one catastrophe, but we, as eternal spirits, will come back. And if we destroy, like I said many times, if we manage to destroy the planet Earth, we are going to have to incarnate in a different planet and start all over again, doing a better job of preserving the planet. So, it's the end of the world as we know it, but it's not the end of the world for us eternal spirits, right? So it's important for us to understand this. But the second question, when we talk about we are at our level of evolution as imperfect spirits, we are lazy. That's the reality. We are all lazy. If we are allowed not to do anything, most of us, I'm not going to say everyone, because a lot of people like to work and cannot stop working, but the majority of us, if we can, we would try to choose the easy life, right? If someone gives us money for us to survive, most of us will not make an effort. So that's why we have to struggle here, right? That's why we have more people without resources than people with resources. If the distribution of wealth was equal throughout the world and we were all satisfied with what we had, a small part will continue work and continue the effort of progressing because it's ingrained in them. But the majority will just relax, and you see that in the communist countries, right? People receive everything that they need, that they have very little incentive to work, and there is not much progress there, right? They suffer. The dominant classes have everything, all the wealth, and the workers, they don't make much of an effort because we are imperfect spirits, and we are still not at the level where we do the work because we know we need to do it to progress. We're not there yet. Again, the majority. That's why we are in a world of trials and atonements. Moving into a world of regeneration, the balance changes, right? So the majority will make the effort of progressing when we get there, but we are not there yet. Okay. Okay.
575. Common occupations seem to be duties rather than missions. A mission, as we define it, is characterized by a less exclusive and personal importance. How can we discover if a person really has a mission on earth? By the great things they accomplish and the progress they bring to their fellow human beings.
I think that the answer here describes what we are studying here. That's the perfect answer, right? You're looking for a missionary. Look the results, the great things they accomplish, the progress they bring to humanity. That's the characteristic of a missionary. Besides that, we can call duties. Yes, most of us are doing our duties every day, but we are not, we don't have a higher purpose. Most of us, okay? Some of us have, and then many, as I mentioned, unknown individuals that work for the sole, with the sole objective of helping others. And these are the true missionaries.
576.
Yeah.
Are individuals who have an important mission predestined to this mission before their birth? And are they aware of it? In some cases, yes, but they are more often unaware of it. They are only vaguely conscious of arriving on Earth, and their mission is revealed to them gradually after birth, depending on the circumstances. God leads them to the roads that they should follow in order to be capable of carrying out God's plans.
Yeah, again, we are here to progress, and according to our level of evolution, we make choices on our lives, and some of these choices may become missions that we didn't really chose before incarnating, but is a natural consequence of our own individual progress. I was thinking of Divaldo when I was reading this, right? Divaldo was born there in the interior of the state of Bahia, moved to the capital, got to know Spiritism when he was young, still in his town. And then when he moved to Salvador, he started working on creating this huge institution that they had, which is called Mansion of the Way, Mansão do Caminho. But he never thought he was on a mission, and you never heard Divaldo saying he was on a mission. But he started building it with the assistance of friends, especially Nilsson. The work was revealed to him gradually, right? When he met Joana de Angelis, appeared to him and talked to him about the work that he was supposed to do. And he was a medium, of course, from the beginning, but Joana de Angelis never told him, you are here on a mission. She said, always, you are here to do the work that, to help others. And once when he asked her, why did you never wrote anything for me? You keep writing all these works and to give help to others. And why you never wrote anything specifically, personally to me? And she told him, go and read everything that I wrote. Everything was for you. You didn't see it, it was for you, but everything that I wrote was for you. Pay attention to what I wrote. So you see, the true missionaries are not really aware they are on a mission. And that's the characteristic of a true missionary. And you see the result of the work, right? You go to Mansion of the Way, and I was there a couple of months ago when he discarnated, I was there. And for the coincidence, right? No coincidences, but and I had the opportunity to go to Mansion of the Way, and it's huge. It's a beautiful work, right? It's really extraordinary, the work that he left behind. So missionary, but he will never say he was. Did he know before incarnating that he was coming to do that? I don't know, maybe, but he never said anything about it. Yeah.
577. When a person does something useful, is it a predestined mission or can it be an unanticipated one? Not all productive activities engaged in by human beings are the result of a predestined mission. Individuals are often the instruments of spirits who use them to obtain something they consider useful. For example, a spirit might seek out a writer to publish a book that it considers useful and would write it itself if incarnated. The spirit finds the writer who could best understand and develop its ideas, suggest the plan of the book, and direct its completion. In such a case, the writer did not come into the world with a mission of doing this work. It is the same with regard to various works of art or scientific discoveries. While asleep, the incarnate spirit directly communicates with the errant spirit, and they collaborate in the endeavor.
Yeah, so it's very interesting when they talk here about the writer. So let's stay with the writer, right? Someone comes here and decides that he wants to write a book. I don't know, a book to help people succeed in business, right? A spirit that is trying to help and assist and thinks that this book can be of benefit, positive benefit, can come and inspire the writer to produce a better work. Of course, the writer has already to have the instruments to write. You know? It cannot be someone that is not involved in business, in this as an example. So the spirit can inspire the writer to produce a better work that will serve to help a larger number of people in the world. So it was not a predestined mission of the writer, but it became a mission of the writer when a spirit found in the writer the useful instrument to be helpful to a larger part of humanity. It's the same thing with scientific discoveries, right? Someone is trying to work on a cure for cancer, let's say, right? And they are doing the work because they like the work. They're not thinking about helping humanity. They are more curious about the result of the work for their own personal success, right? But a spirit sees in the work an opportunity to help humankind. So we can inspire this scientist to produce a better work so it can be helpful to humanity. The reward for the person who did the work will be in according to the effort, the aware. So, and as the Spirit says, if you are looking for a reward in the physical world, you don't need a reward in the spiritual world. So if you're doing the work because you want to be recognized here, you want to receive the awards, the whatever you receive here on earth, you're already receiving your reward here. You are not receiving it in the spiritual world. Of course, we all have the merits of every work, positive work that we do. But for those that work unknown to others, that that follow the teachings of Jesus, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. These are the ones that will receive the reward of the spiritual world in the sense of an eternal spirit achieving the progress that it needed, right? So we can be instruments, aware of or unaware of the work, and we can receive or not the rewards for our work, both here and in the spiritual world. Okay?
$578. Can a spirit fail in its mission based on its own fault? Yes, if it is not a superior spirit. What are the consequences of such a failure? It must start its task over again as atonement. It also has to suffer the consequences of the harm caused by its failure.
Okay, of course we can fail a spirit can fail on a mission. We here, inferior spirits, right? Because it depends on our free will. And so maybe we decide to come here to be a doctor to help the poor, right? I'm going to graduate as a doctor. I'm going to open a free clinic. I'm going to help the poor. And then I come here, I become a doctor, and then I become fascinated with the rewards, monetary rewards I'm receiving, forget all about the free clinic, and then start charging. So I fail in my mission, yes. The consequences of a failure is we have to start all over again. We have to come back, and it will become an atonement. You'll become a challenge. You'll become more difficult. I'll probably, if I had, let's say, for a doctor, if I had the facilities, monetary facilities of going to a good school and going to a good college, and it was easier for me to reach the level of a doctor because I was receiving these facilities because I was going to open a free clinic, and then I gave up. Next time I'm going to start for a humble family. I'm going to have to work hard to be able to graduate. I'm going to work hard to be able to get my diploma if I decide to do it. So everything will be more difficult because it becomes an atonement instead of a mission, right? And but something here, so if it's not a superior spirit, a more evolved spirit, it's unlikely they are going to fail because they are no longer imperfect spirits. They are more elevated spirits. So they will come. So a Mother Teresa, which is clearly a superior spirit, she didn't fail in her mission, right? We don't know if she was supposed to achieve all she did. Maybe she achieved probably even more than she was supposed to, but she was not going to fail. Divaldo, Chico, they were not going to fail. They were going to achieve what they came to because they are more evolved spirits. We, less evolved spirits, are the ones that have a bigger chance of failing in our missions if we have chosen a mission. But again, the majority of us, we come to this incarnation not with a mission because we are coming here just to progress. We don't have the capacity of doing great things. We have the capacity to do our daily tasks, maybe taking care of our families already, taking care of our loved ones that are suffering. It's already more than we can handle. It's a good thing to do, but we can fail on that also, right? You can abandon our loved ones to their own luck, and so we fail in our small mission. And the consequences of a failure is always to come back and have to do it all over again. Not exactly the same, right? But something similar with more difficulties. Okay.
579. Since each spirit receives its mission from God, how can God have allocated an important mission to a spirit capable of failure? Does God not know whether a general will be victorious or defeated? Rest assured that God foresees all things, and that the carrying out of God's plans is never confided to those who will have their work half completed, especially when they are important. You have trouble accepting the concept of God's knowledge of the future because you cannot understand it.
Again, when the spirit receives the mission from God, we can say that everything follows the natural law, right? God's law is perfect. So God is not choosing things. God created the perfect laws, and we are all under the natural laws. The perfect spirits are the ones that fulfill the task of doing the act in the name of God. But everything is important. We all receive our tasks that we can call a mission or not in order to progress. Because I remember discussing this with someone that when I was talking about the messages received from the spirits, right? And he was questioning what. If Jesus could send us messages directly, why Jesus doesn't send us messages directly? Again, why Jesus will send us messages directly if he can use spirits under him to send us good messages? Do I need to receive a message directly from Jesus or a message from Joanna de Angelis at my level of evolution is more than enough? It's more than enough. I can barely understand her messages. So I don't need Jesus directly. And for her, it's important to do the work of distributing the messages. It's her part of the work. And then under her, other spirits, and until our level, right? So the natural laws, they acknowledge, or it is in the natural laws, the failures. Because imperfect spirits are going to fail. It's part of our evolutionary process. We learn by making mistakes. We evolve by learning from our mistakes. So if you never build a chair, First time you're going to build a chair, you're going to build something that nobody will be able to sit. So, but you learn from the mistakes and you build a better chair the second time until you build a good chair, right? You are learning, right? The problem is you build a chair, this silly example, but you build a chair and of course you sit and the chair falls. You build the second time exactly the same way you build the first time. That's when you are creating the karma for you, right? When you know you made a mistake, but you didn't learn from your mistake and you repeat. That's when you create the consequences for us, the karma, the so-called karma. Because when you make a mistake because you don't know how to do it, you're not creating any karma. You didn't know what to do. So you're trying to learn. If children in school, think of school, right? Children are not punished because they don't know how to read. When they are learning to read and they receive the instructions and they refuse to follow the instructions, that's when they can be punished with bad grades and things like that. But they're not going to receive bad grades when they didn't know anything, right? The first day of school, the teacher is not going to give a test for students that never learn anything, right? Because everybody is going to fail. But from the test, the teacher builds something, then the students learn. And that's the same thing with us. As we evolve, we learn, we make mistakes, we learn from our mistakes, and we evolve by applying what we learn to do better things with our on our journey. The problem with us is always we are selfish, we are proud of ourselves, so we sometimes, many times, refuse to learn from our mistakes. I didn't make a mistake. It's your fault. It's not my fault. It's your fault. It's always the fault of others. When you come to spiritism, right, it's the fault of the spirits. It's the influence of the spirits that made me do that. It's our own free will. We make our choices. So it's our responsibility to make the choices, to learn from our choices, and in that way, we are going to progress. Okay? All right, I think we're going to stop here. We still have I think we have some 5 questions left in the chapter. We leave it for next week. Okay. So what do we have here? On Saturday, the United States Spiritist Federation talk is going to be a recorded session about the symposium. Talking about the symposium, that the next one is in September in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So Tanya, the president of the United States Spiritist Federation and the organizer of the symposium nowadays, she's going to talk with, she's talking with Jussara, Daniel Assis, and Daniel Santos, who have been involved in one way or another with the symposium since the first edition that was in Baltimore in 2008, I believe, or 2010. So that's Saturday, 11 a.m. On Sunday, which is the fourth Sunday of the month, we are going to have the Q&A session. You can bring your questions. All right. And we continue next week on the Spirits book. Carol, can you do our final prayer?
Sure. Thank you very much, John, for hosting our meeting tonight. Thank you, everyone, for participating. Thank you, Philip, for being our reader this evening. Infinite Creator and Supreme Intelligence, we are grateful to be together as brothers and sisters for our studies of the Spirit's book. Book 2, Chapter 10, Spirit Occupations and Missions. There is an extensive variety of missions in which spirits carry out God's will in either the physical world or in the spirit world. They assist others with a good purpose to advance humanity. They perform according to their abilities and knowledge. Missions vary in scope, importance, and usefulness. Progress is part of God's law, even for those that are lazy or idle. Eventually, these actions may lead to a greater awareness of using time and labor wisely. Missions can fail as well, meaning the tasks will arise again in a new incarnation through the natural law of progress. We have free will and make our choices. We give thanks to the spiritual benefactors and the good spirits for guiding and inspiring us this evening. May we receive the love, light, and peace of Christ within us, and for our loved ones, our teachers, our directors, our counselors, our mediums, our workers, and all participants. We pray for inner peace, and especially now for world peace, and for those who are suffering in the physical and spiritual worlds. We pray for our center, SGNY, and all Spiritus centers throughout the world, that they may grow, prosper, expand, and be protected throughout the day and throughout the night. As we close, we humbly ask for safety and protection as we return to our family, friends, loved ones, and coworkers. May we go forth now as beacons of love, of light, of peace, of service, and charity, which is love in action. May peace and love prevail. So be it.